Good morning from America's newest booze leader, all television. This is ALCUUCLA xABC22 29. Christian Slater's on the show. Yeah, live with Christian Slater is gonna be on the show. Who else is on the show? Viola Davis and James McAvoy. Co-host. Good Lord, 29th of ABC. What do you plan? I'm watching Two Broke Girls on CBS. Absolutely. Good Lord. Good morning, everybody. I don't see it here. This is Al Jazeera. Good morning. Absolutely. Hi guys, how are you tonight? Exactly. It's Wolf Blitzer. See you now. Let's get to our show, you guys. There's no reason at all. Not a reason. They've got Simba. Yeah, they've got it. They've got it. Simba. Thank you, Simba International. Greatly appreciate it. From VS Businesses, a billion-dollar company. Yeah, we work for that. We appreciate everything. We have a lot of love. Lot to love, lot to give. Yeah, a lot to give. We have a lot of love. Lot of love. From all over the world. We're getting better. We've got us similarly Salino, Moxicillin. Yeah, we're getting better. Senator Barry. Senator Barry. You got it. Let's get to our video here. ABC. Can you give us some ABC footage first, please? All we have is the sports people. Put the sports people on. Hello, sports people. Give us a clue on your network here. Yeah, Sports Center.
Less and less. And I think that now the West is loaded.
Sports Center.
Getting through the West now is difficult. I like the uncertainty of
Give
the
us a
future.
clue on your
It's
network.
more
Terrorism.
promising to me
Secret.
than having an aging team in the most competitive division or
Most
most competitive conference. They need injuries. They can't. If everyone's healthy and happy, they're not going to win the
This
West.
is ABC22, live with Kelly.
You're also banking on a GM who's never done the job in Rob
That's
Pelinka and a president of basketball
South.
operations who's never done the job in Magic Johnson.
I agree.
But the conversation has shifted because for a very
Christian Slater's on your show next Wednesday.
LA wasn't a free agent destination. Rob
Well, the
Pelinka set on a
Metro.
5-year plan to get free agents.
Who's
Which
better
is
to get
and
free agents
everybody-
than one of the best agents in the game? He has relationships, and Magic has relationships, and it's LA, and that matters, and it's the Lakers, that matters.
Breaking
Everybody
news.
likes
Incident at the UK Parliament.
Everybody likes potential because they project all their positive assumptions on it. It's why
Good
NFL
Lord.
draft picks are
worth more right now than the day after the draft.
Absolutely.
And that's what the Lakers have. They have that unknown. They have high draft picks and rookie prospects. And I'm telling you, the Kings and the Wolves have had the same thing over the last decade and won 30% of their games.
Sometimes the unknown is better. So if you open a door and there's a bunch of
Round the
snakes
bus.
and Golden State
Open the
Warriors in front of
door.
you, I might want to take that door that seems uncertain because you know what you're not going to get past is snakes and Golden State Warriors. Maybe you open that door and there's something different. I agree. It's not guaranteed. Short term, who's more likely to win a championship this year or next year? Clippers. But who potentially is more likely to win a first championship? I think the Clippers aren't going to win it this year or next year. And I think the Lakers have a chance when the league dynamics change. LeBron is getting older. Steph and that team is probably going to start to split up.
Today on
That
Live with
future looks
Kelly.
more promising to me.
Marcus Spados, Mark Van Spados, Lisa Renna, and Holy
Carmelo
Home.
does it.
And here's the thing, though. We keep asking, or keep saying, it's Clippers.
We
It's
keep
this year. It's this year. We don't. It's not this year.
It's got to change.
It's got to change.
You agreeing with me? Thank you.
And the fact that they need help. And actually, Jalen Rose had an interesting point we're going to discuss after the break. Could LeBron and Chris Paul's friendship be the real reason
Conspiracy.
LeBron sat out on Saturday?
Absolutely.
Jalen thinks it could be. We'll react to that conspiracy theory, guys. Plus, we all know how Stephen A. feels about Jay Cutler, the best available quarterback right now. Somebody at the desk thinks he could still find success. Find out who.
Good morning, everybody.
Priscilla and Canal. If you ran an NFL team and Belichick called to trade for a player that you didn't really like, would you then not trade the player even though you didn't like him?
I think the more interesting thing is if I saw a player on your team and I called up you, like, hey, I'll give you that 4th or 5th round, and it was like, okay, done, you can have him. That would
Christian
make me
latest
even
on the
more conscious,
show.
like, why is he willing
Marcus
to part
Spados.
ways with a player that I see value in?
Priscilla
What's
and
going
Canal
on?
on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Trey Wingo, Mike Golick, and the impossible
What did I
Hamilton
just
Frank
do?
Kelly. Let's rattle through some things here. Let's start with George Bush. All right, let's see. I got Villanueva. I got Wisco. Yeah, a little badgerification.
Two brokers yesterday.
President Barack Obama. This is a pick that I believe that
The 29th, what's happening?
Mike and Mike on ESPN Radio and ESPN2.
The Dan Lebatard Show podcast.
If you are incapable of listening to a long-winded story by Bruce Hornsby that talks about getting Allen Iverson pardoned by the government and then beating Allen Iverson in basketball, you are addicted to stimuli in a way that needs rehab.
Do you want more from the Dan Lebatard Show? Download the podcast right now on iTunes or on the ESPN app.
Oh. Well, let's get to our video here. We just spoke with ABC about next week. Absolutely. Our video's in progress.
Hi, guys.
This is ABC 2229.
Ongoing, and considering the significant attention, I'm going to try to keep this a little
Lisa
on the shorter
Renna,
side
Marcus
today.
Spados, Holly Home.
The president's making a full day of progress towards some of his biggest promises that he's made to the American people. This morning, he met with the House Republican Conference members on Capitol
David
Hill
Mill.
ahead of the House's scheduled vote on the
What's happening
Health Care
here?
Act, which is currently scheduled for Thursday. During the meeting, the president reminded members of the House
The
Conference
29.
has been a promise that Republicans have been making to voters for years. Members made it clear that if voters put a Republican in the White House and continue Republican majorities in the House and the Senate, that we would repeal and replace this ill-advised and legislation.
Absolutely.
Members pledged the American people that they would deliver on their promise. This is really their chance. This is the repeal of Obamacare that a Republican.
This is the 22nd.
And voters have been waiting for this for some time. On Thursday, as the House gathers on the floor and casts their votes for the ACH, it'll exactly be 7 years after President Obama signed Obamacare into law. We're hoping to make this the last anniversary that Americans will have to endure Obamacare.
Really?
Republicans have been working to repeal and replace this misguided law ever since. And now, under President Trump, we'll finally be able to take a step forward towards fundamental reform of our healthcare system. I think most Americans remember the lines that were used used to sell Obamacare 7 years ago. If you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor. If you like your health care plan, you'll be able to keep your health care plan.
Keep your health care plan.
Americans, those lines proved to be nothing more than empty promises.
Good Lord.
Plans that their families had relied on for years were suddenly canceled. Premiums and deductibles skyrocketed, leaving many who had to actually use them. And insurance fled the marketplace. Nearly 1 in 5 Americans only have offering plans on their Obamacare exchange. President Trump and Republicans in Congress will keep their promise by reforming the system once and for all. And that's exactly what
the
American Health Care Act, which along with the additional legislative and administrative action that is part of the three-prong approach that we continue to outline, will finally give all Americans the healthcare system they deserve, where market-based competition leads to more affordable, higher quality opportunities. This is an ongoing process, and the president has made it clear to Congress that they should be open to incorporating some of the common sense policy proposals that have been suggested by members in both chambers who share their commitment to improving the healthcare system. To that end, the House introduced several technical and policy amendments to the legislation last night, which the president acknowledged on Capitol Hill this morning. They include delivering more immediate Obamacare's taxes, accelerating the repeal of these taxes from 2017 rather than from 2018, and ensuring that millions of Americans who paid Obamacare's penalties or taxes can reclaim their hard-earned dollars from the IRS. And to making it easier for Americans to deduct more of the cost of their medical expenses, protecting life by prohibiting taxpayer dollars from being used to help purchase insurance plans that currently cover abortion, giving states additional flexibility for covering traditional adults and children populations while maintaining baseline funding for elderly and disabled populations, giving states the ability to implement optional, reasonable work requirements for able-bodied adults without dependents as part of their Medicaid programs, freezing Obamacare's Medicaid expansion while allowing for responsible unwinding so that people who enroll before 2020 will continue to be supported by the program, and providing a more generous reimbursement for elderly and disabled Medicare enrollees, recognizing that those populations have unique needs that must be taken care of. After a return to the White House from the House Republican Conference, the president received his daily intelligence briefing. Then the president signed S-442, the NASA Administration Transition Authorization Act of 2017, acting on another of the president's most ambitious promises to the American people. Many may recall in his joint address, the president said, quote, "American footprints on distant worlds are not too big of a dream," end quote. And with this bill, he is taking the latest step towards making that dream a reality by reiterating NASA's mission to ensure America remains in space exploration. This bipartisan, bicameral legislation provides NASA with the full support it needs to fulfill this and many other important missions, including supporting NASA's plan to explore deep space and sending astronauts to Mars, including an endorsement of launching the Mars 2020 rover.
What are they planning?
A site that is likely to have been habitable, seeking signs of past life and testing compelling samples and techniques for future eventual human exploration of Mars, reaffirming that NASA remains a fully multi-mission agency with a balanced set of core missions in space science, space technology, aeronautics, human spaceflight, exploration, and education. Endorsing NASA's continued progress towards launching the James Webb Telescope, which will be a giant leap forward in our ever-evolving quest to understand the universe, and establishing an astronaut occupational health care program, something that NASA has considered.
Good Lord, a microphone went out.
After the bill signing, the vice president also announced the president will be taking action shortly to relaunch the National Space Council, which the vice president will chair. The president was honored to sign this new bill into law so that NASA can continue its work towards making America the world leader in space exploration once again. Also this morning, the president hosted a breakfast meeting with Prime Minister Al-Abadi of Iraq. We provided a readout of the president's meeting with the Prime Minister yesterday as well. There's been a readout of the vice president's as well.
March 29.
President will meet with
co-host Chris Slater,
part of the House Tuesday group, to discuss the American Health Care Act. And this evening, the president will speak at the National Republican Congressional Committee March dinner. Over on the Senate side of the Hill, the president's pick for the Supreme Court, Judge Neil Gorsuch.
Cut the ring. Cut the ring at Shoreline. We're live with Pink Shorts.
And it's clear that everyone
This
agrees
is a ALCUUCLA.
from a broad spectrum that Judge Gorsuch is a very qualified person to serve on the Supreme Court. As the judge noted today, quote, a judge is there to make sure that every person, poor or rich, mighty or meek, gets equal protection under the law, end quote. His records show that he's lived up to this commitment throughout his entire career, and he's continuing to prove that he's exactly the type of jurist we need on the Supreme Court throughout the questioning that's started today. Today is also National Culture Day.
Today, we're live with Regis Kelly. We gotta go, guys.
The world